Hey, what's up everybody? My name is CollegeSportsREVIVED and welcome back to the Road to NBA 2K22 series here on the PlayStation 5 episode number 89. Things got a little crazy last time around. Playoff seeding implications were on every game down the stretch of Season 6, but we did manage to win 55 games overall as we head into the playoffs of Year 6. We won't waste any time today. We have a loaded episode coming at you as we tip off the playoffs today. So let's head into the award recap of the 6th season of the Road to NBA 2K. Luka Doncic adds his second consecutive MVP trophy to his shrine. No surprises here, the Mavericks and Deshaun barely lost an entire game post the All-Star break. But as we look to the final MVP voting, Luka barely jumped Giannis at the end of the season, with Donovan reaching uncharted territory. For the first time in the Road to NBA 2K series, a hometown friend was finalist for most valuable player. That is a huge accomplishment in itself in my eyes. Congrats to Donovan, he earned that. The timeline of rookies in this series got a little messed up with the move to NBA 2K22, but Mobley wins it. Jordan Clarkson was the best bench guard in free agency last offseason as he was all as advertised from the Miami Heat. He's 6th man of the year, just another piece of that loaded Heat roster. Giannis was DPOY. I'm sure Donovan was considered for this award as well, but an award that would be handed back to the Big Apple. It's Obi Toppin walking away with most improved. I actually have won one of these before in my own career. One's in my trophy case, and it's an awesome feeling to see your hard work pay off. Congrats to our big fella. He had some big games for us in his first season as a starter replacing Mitchell Robinson. Jason Kidd at the helm of the 71-win Mavericks. He is coach of the year. They were unstoppable after the All-Star break. So let's head into the secondary awards with the All-NBA teams. The first NBA team goes Luka, Trae Young. The two players obviously traded for each other all those seasons ago in the draft. Giannis, Donovan, and Nikola Jokic for All-NBA first team. Donovan was elite. Even though his struggles going back and forth between small forward and power forward after the CADE trade, he still brought his numbers back up near the end of the season and closed the year with a couple big games, and it looks like he's back on track and he deserves to be on All-NBA first team. All-NBA second team, we see Bam, KD, The Brow, Ferran, and Steph Curry. Okay, so Ferran was just as impactful in the team as Donovan, as he was completely unconscious in the second half of the season. 22.2 points per game, up there with the leaders every season at this point, and that was reigning true this season as well in steals and three-point efficiency. But how about 26 points per game after the All-Star break? If he did that for the entire year, he would have been second in the NBA in scoring. Giannis led the league this season with 26.6 a game. Ferran was just on another level after we came back from our break, and he really helped us out while Donovan was transitioning to the three. All-NBA third team got CJ, Dame, who's now in Brooklyn, of course, Zion, who's on the Hornets, and Deshaun, Christian, and Nikola Vucevic. No Jay Fitz on any All-NBA team, but let's not take away the spotlight from Deshaun because he earned it. You saw his volume go back a little bit, but that's due in part to the Mavericks having an absolutely stacked roster, and Deshaun still put up good averages, 15, 7, 5, and he was a lights out scorer from all three levels. And as we move on to the all defense teams, we see Ben Simmons, CP3, Giannis, of course Donovan. It seems like he was considered for DPOY. I was not wrong in that guess. And Bam Adebayo. 1.9 blocks per game. It's a little bit down for Donovan this year, but still 6th in the NBA in blocks. And all defense second team, we got Rudy, we got Deshaun, The Brow, and myself with Ferran in the backcourt of the all defense second team. We see Deshaun putting up 3 combined blocks and steals per game. My season was pretty awesome overall. I had a lot of fun this season as Donovan came to New York. 15.5 points, 10.5 rebounds. I knew my numbers were going to drop a little bit with all these basketballs to go around. And I was, I'm not too surprised that I was left off all NBA teams. And of course, Ferran doing his thing on defense. So the reveal of who we're playing, it will be the Wizards as they come to MSG for the first 2 games to open up Season 6 playoff brackets as the search for our first ring of my career continues. I like to think that fate had a part in bringing this first round matchup to light. There's so many reasons why this is a highly anticipated first round get together between Washington This is a rematch of last season's first round matchup. We were just too physical for Washington last season and we overwhelmed them on the glass, but that could change this time around as they added Jonas Valanciunas last summer. And furthermore, the elephant in the room, all the drama surrounding CADE Cunningham this season, how he was on the Knicks and then became a huge distraction for us. He spoke publicly on how frustrated he'd become in New York playing out of position, and it showed on the court in his performances. He was moved for Montrezl Harrell at the deadline, and with CADE Cunningham now moving back to his native point guard position, DC took off. They were 26-32 when they got CADE, an impressive mark considering Bradley Beal's been out with a torn ACL since the first week of the season. But the Wizards soared to a 19-5 record after acquiring Cunningham. But the breaking news does not stop there. The Wizards team doctors have recently announced that Bradley Beal's rehab is well ahead of schedule, and Beal plans to suit up almost 2 months before his projected recovery dates, which means he will very much be back in full capacity for the first round against yours truly. How do you game plan for this? They were already a dark horse team with how hot they've been. CADE's playing the best ball of his young career, and now he gets to play his first minutes sharing the floor with DC's franchise player. All of a sudden, you're looking at a very formidable team that's won 8 out of 10 entering the first round. Everything around this series is talk. CADE Cunningham's counterproductive talk when he was on our team before he got traded, the talk on how much he's enjoying DC and becoming a star, and the talk of more and more TV personnel picking the Wizards in a first round upset. I'm tired of the talk. I think it's time for me, Donovan, and Ferran to handle our business out there on the floor and quiet down the peanut gallery. Let's hop into it, guys. Knicks and Wizards, CADE versus Fitz. It's coming up here on College Sports Revived right after this. Man, oh man, the electricity in the building is insane. We all know how wild New York can get whenever playoff basketball comes around, and that reigns true this season. Obviously, all the fans saw up close and personal what CADE Cunningham tried to do this team, and he has not made much goodwill here in New York before making his exit after a season and a half donning the orange and blue, but we'll see what happens in this intense first round matchup. The only switch we've made going into this first game is Donovan moves to the 4, Eric Paschall moves to the 3, gets some more defense there at the wing as Donovan moves back to his native 4 position. The ref has the ball and we're ready to get things underway. It's the Washington Wizards with the first possession as CADE Cunningham takes over 18 points per game since the move to Washington, and he's coming out firing as he takes it right at Paschall the Rascal, and it'll be CADE Cunningham making the first basket of the series. Jumping ahead a couple minutes, I have 1 assist to Donovan. Washington up 8-6 as Clifford tries to step it back over me and Ferran, and it will go. Jerome Clifford. Don't forget about him moving to the 2, but he is definitely welcome to change. Clifford has become an awesome passer, my former college rival, as he will now be matching up with Ferran. No more Fitz versus Clifford in these games. I work off a screen, I find Ferran cutting on the baseline, a beautiful dish, and then he'll put it in for an impressive second assist, getting things underway quick and in a hurry. Let's take a second look at this one, coming off a screen, and Ferran faded to the corner, and how do you forget about the guy who's been averaging near 26 points per game in the second half of the season. I can't say enough about Ferran and the impact he's had and how well he's done down the stretch this season as Toppin helps me out there on CADE about halfway through the first quarter. Up to me, extra pass to Ferran, Nadeem for 3. CADE got caught fishing for a cheap steal, and they let Ferran run wide open there in the corner. But now Washington retakes the lead 15-13. That's my 4th assist at this point as Bradley Beal, he's trying to be welcomed back, but he's off to kind of a slow start. That's 2 for 7 shooting for Beal. Extra pass to Ferran, takes a dribble in, and he is on fire. All right, how about Ferran opening up with a quick 9 points out of our first 15? So Washington would call timeout and knot it up at 15 apiece. Already pretty interesting first couple of minutes. And I would hit the bench with the rest of the big three. So checking out, coming back in, and we are down by 6. A pretty key stat for Washington. They are actually 7th in the league in bench points per game, 41.2 per game off the bench. That's 7th in the NBA. As CADE Cunningham, one-on-one, I'm keep finding myself in getting into some trouble just because of his length, but it's Toppin helping me out, and then a tie up there under the rim as CADE Cunningham steps out of bounds. Him and Toppin get a little physical there, but it'll be a turnover forced on CADE to begin the second quarter. Only 21 points out of the gate for the New York Knicks, trying to get that sorted out. As I flashed the ball here, I didn't even take a shot in the first half, so maybe trying to look for my shot a little bit here. As it's Ferran off a screen, he will move to the free throw line. And how about 15 out of our first 23 coming from the hands of Ferran? But the stat I'm not all that in favor in. How about 4 for 17 shooting for the rest of these guys? We got to help them out a little bit if we're going to overcome this struggling little stretch to open up game 1. 2 rejections there, both coming from Jonas Valanciunas, and on the other end it's Ferran returning the favor. J-Val, not happening. All right, we're closing it down. Ferran is hot, and I'm trying to find some scoring opportunities as I get CADE stumbling there, and we get into it under the basket. A little shove from CADE. I guess he didn't like me taking his ankles a little bit there, but already the chippy play is starting to happen a little bit. This game has been pretty brutal under the basket on both ends, rebounding the ball, and it all is starting to become a little bit chippy with CADE giving me a shove there. No worries, I get my business handled at the free throw line. 89.9% in the regular season from the charity stripe for yours truly. So now down by 1, Obi Toppin open for a 3, but outside of Ferran, we've been struggling from behind the line, which is pretty uncharacteristic for us, as here comes CADE, and it's another pretty intense play here with Donovan and CADE now coming to blows. How about some drawing for the young blood? He's coming at Donovan now. He's doing a lot of talk. We'll see if he backs it up, because he tried to start something with me on the other end. Now on this end, he's getting into it with Donovan. We'll see what happens, man. I didn't expect for there to be this much talk as I hit Donovan here on the pick and roll, but it's CADE blocking Donnie G. He'll get the rebound, and he's looking for Jerome Clifford in the right corner. This one is all nets as Washington opens it up once again. All right, you can see it in his eyes. CADE wanting to back up his talk. We'll see if he becomes a pretty scary player. And I mean, hey, I guess I'm a little bit proud of him. It seems sometimes he was a little bit too passive in New York. As you see Bradley Beal, that knee looks fine as he's wearing that brace. But CADE Cunningham sometimes looked a little too passive, like he didn't care up here in the Big Apple. He moves to Washington, and now a new fire has been lit in his career. I'll check out down 10. And Washington opens it up 13 as we enter the locker room. Oh my goodness. We have been caught completely off guard so far. We are down by 13 at home against the Wizards, who welcome back Bradley Beal after that ACL tear. Look at that, 9 for 17 we're allowing from 3 so far. And we're actually the #1 team in the NBA this season in opponent 3-point percentage. We only allow 34.9% from our opponents from 3. That's the best in the NBA. And we allow the least amount of 3s taken on us per game. So Washington exploiting what we do best, and I've only taken 1 shot so far. Outside of Ferran, he's had almost no help, including Donovan. And obviously, I've not come to play. I cannot find my own shot right now. CADE Cunningham defending me really well as he opens up 3 for 8. Bradley Beal tied for the top scorer on Washington, even though he's not playing incredibly well or anything. Just having him out on the floor has been such a threat for Washington. So let's hop back in. Can we change things around for the better? Let's see. So Mitchell Drew actually checks in with a starting 5. We need a little bit of a scoring punch here. He's been one of the better guards off the bench for us. As look at this, already out of the gate. I'm finding a lane and a little scoop fake. CADE over contested, and I'll put in a quick 2 points. So finally, my first field goal. Can you believe I've gone this long? Just had so much trouble finding a shot over CADE's length. 61-46 Washington now as they defend this pick and roll really well against me and Donovan. I'll just give it off to him as he fades to his left off the dribble. Yes, there is an assist to Donovan finally. Donovan 18.5 points per game, but not too good of a percentage heading into the halftime break, but that does get it down to 12. It's Bradley Beal on the next time up the floor, tipped around into the arms of Pascal the Rascal. Donovan, with controlling the rock, puts it up to Ferran for a huge jam. I got a little mad there at first. I thought Donovan was missing me there. It's been tough finding my own shots, so I'm just trying to score at this point. But he had it all covered. He knew what he was doing. He finds Ferran, and they exchange a little bit of a handshake there. As we move along here, we got it down to single digits. It's a very Knicks team that can turn it on with a flip of the switch. Do we have that in store? It's Norman Powell, who's been a very key player for Washington this season. He's actually third on the team in scoring on the year, 14.5 points, 43% on the season for Norman Powell, and that'll push it back to double digits with about 4 minutes left to play here in the third. It's Ferran off the screen, looking for Donovan to return the favor. Yes, we need more highlight plays just like that to get us grooving again. The crowd's been a little bit more quiet here in the second half. I don't think anyone's been expecting Washington to open up this well as they call timeouts. And I would check out here for the rest of the third quarter. Can the bench help us out this time? They didn't do us any favors last time out. Entering the fourth, and it's 82-64. What has happened to the Knicks bench? Our bench was so dominant, they helped us win some huge games down the stretch of the regular season. But I check out, and Washington goes on a 13-4 run without me, Donovan, and Ferran on the floor. You think Montrezl Harrell moving back to the bench would help us out in our second unit, but I guess not. Inside to Donovan, can we get a call? I guess not. We can't get anything right now. It's Clifford leading the break, a little pass fake. He looks for some assistance. And it's Beal one-on-one with Ferran. Washington doing whatever they want, including Davis Bertans, who had a huge series against us last season. He was a big weapon for them in the first round matchup last time around. It's now 93-68. Things going from bad to worse here in the first game of the first round. The Wizards have made 8 more threes than us in the game. We just look so uncharacteristically poor and out of sorts on offense. But there we go. There's a little jumper for myself. I do manage to get up to double figures scoring, but it hasn't really helped us too much on the score sheet. I mean, 40% as a team, that's just inexcusable for a top 5 offense like what we have. We drop 110 points per game on the dot, and it's going to take a lot for us to reach that season average. Only 78 points, but there's an assist to Ferran as I pick off the lazy pass. Maybe I should have done more of that. And I think as a team, we should have done more than that, because Washington all game long, they were able to have whatever they wanted from 3. And it turned up in the stat sheet. 102-89, the Wizards come out and shock the world here in game 1. After shooting 44% from 3 and out rebounding us on the defensive glass. Oh my goodness. At least there was one shining light for us. It was Ferran picking up right where he left off from the regular season. 38 points for him on the nights. I wouldn't be surprised that's the new career high for him, but everybody else kind of struggled. Even me, who shot a good percentage, I only took 7 shots in the game, 12 and 13 for myself. Donovan was 6 of 18, matching up with Davis Bertans most of the game. And I took 4 of those shots in the fourth quarter. So 3 shots through 3 quarters, that is inexcusable. I got to work harder to find better looks against CADE. Montrez off the bench, 2 for 8. Obi Toppin, 1 for 8. Boban, 1 for 11. And Eric Paschall was pretty much invisible in his first NBA playoff starts. Cade Cunningham had 19 and 8. A couple of garbage time baskets in the fourth quarter for him. Bradley Beal in his first game back from that ACL tear, 17 and 6. 7 for 20 shooting, however, and it was really the secondary pieces for Washington that made all the difference. And how about Jonas Valanciunas? 15 and 8 blocks, 8 of them. And perhaps why Donovan played kind of lackluster in game 1. We come back to the locker room, he gets his knee checked out, and it looks like there's a little bit of swelling. He's got a sore left knee that he sustained over time during the Washington game. And yeah, this is horrible news after we just got trounced in the first game. Donovan will continue to play hurt, however, as Montrezl Harrell. Yeah, we need some more of a rebounding punch if Jonas Valanciunas is going to block 8 shots and grab 15 rebounds against us. They really didn't have anybody last year to hang with us on the boards, so we're going to need all the help we can get. So Montrezl Harrell moves to the 4, Donovan goes back to the 3. He finished up well at the small forward at the end of the regular season, so perhaps he can continue that against Washington. So moving to the rest of the playoff bracket, we see Brooklyn takes the first 2 games from Atlanta, so they're 1 game away from sweeping ATL. Obviously, he has no 5-game series in the road to NBA 2K22 playoffs. We see the Milwaukee Bucks, who have completely fallen off a cliff since winning the East last year. They got swept in the first round against Boston, the 8th seed, and then they finished in the 8th seed this season, so they're still reeling from that first round upset, and they go down to Miami early. The 4 versus 5 playoff matchup in the East, it's Washington and Chicago and Boston splitting a game for the first 2, and then Dallas takes care of business 93-80. Deshaun didn't shoot well, but he did pretty much everything else well. And it was not a great offensive day for Dallas, uncharacteristically speaking, but they get their business taken care of. Then Aaron Catley against the New Orleans Pelicans, a very interesting matchup there in the West. He's not had too good of games to open up, and the Pelicans and Grizzlies would split the first 2 games 1-1, as Catley will then return to the Pelicans for games 3 and 4. Phoenix takes the first 2 games against Utah, and then the Clippers open up with a win against the Golden State in an all-California first round 2 versus 7 matchup in the West. So we're trying to right our wrongs here as we return to the Garden for game 2. We can't go down 2-0. And I know how important it is to get Donovan going here early. Despite the injury, I give it right up to him. Too much space. He's going to be playing against Bradley Beal. We have to take advantage. I know Beal has those broad shoulders. He's a really stoutly built player, but Donovan should be able to win this matchup time and time again. We're off to the races. Donovan pulling up in transition. How about a quick 4 points for Donnie G? We can't go down 2 games to none. We cannot. We'll have to win all 3, including 2 games on the road against Washington. And that is just not what we have or can do right now after we opened up game 1 like we did. It's Ferran rattling home a 3. A picture perfect start for the Knicks, as we would actually open up 5 for 5 shooting before we miss a shot. So Bradley Beal makes his first basket as he tries to recover from that 7 for 20 shooting day in game 1 as he dusts off the cobwebs. It's Donovan giving me a screen. I fight my way through 2 Wizards players for my first shot attempt and make. So there we go. I'm looking for my shot early and often, but here comes Washington knocking down 7 consecutive points. But I'll grab a rebound in the next possession. Quick 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists for myself here in the first quarter. Pretty productive one. Much better start than game 1, as it's Montrezl Harrell who returns to the starting lineup off a screen. Montrezl Harrell punishes CADE. He almost knocked him over to free me up. That's what I'm talking about. This has probably been one of my more efficiently played offensive years with all, my volume going down. My efficiencies are up, including from 3. 34% for me on the season on about 2 attempts a game from behind the line. As we get the switch we want on the next possession, it's Thomas Bryant on me with 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. It's a teardrop to give me 7 points on the baseline. Super difficult shot, but I open up 3 for 4 shooting. As Ferran, he gets into it a little bit with Jerome Clifford. We don't need any fights. We don't need anyone getting suspended. Something almost like that happened in game 1 with Cade Cunningham trying to start some drama. But look at this, 42-35 as we enter the second quarter. I guess no one's playing defense here in game 2. We got to get some stops here. We got Harrell in the lineup to try to add more defense in the front court. It's Cade Cunningham. This is where he's really made his money in this series. He's 6'8". How am I supposed to stop him inside? He's opening up with making his first 4 shots. I've been efficient, but so is he so far. 46-39. A lot of offense here as Cade Cunningham tries to embarrass me on the next trip up the floor to no dice. Up to me, it's Harrell making the cut and beating Davis Bertans up the floor. We need some more dunks. We need some more energy. The crowd hasn't really been into it in the second half since the second half of last game. So we got to try to turn the tides a little bit here. Momentum can be a scary thing, especially for a team like us. Shot clock dwindling. I'm stepping it back on top of Bertans for 2 more. 11 points for me on the game. And I'm already close to eclipsing my game 1 mark. I had 12 in that one more basket, and I can beat that mark here in the first half. It's Clifford who is rejected by Ferran. Up ahead to me, trying to make it my second three. It's off. Oh, man. The three-point woes continue to haunt us in this series. We actually finished with the 4th best three-point shooting team in the NBA. I would say stop settling, but a lot of these threes that we're missing, they're open looks. What can you do when you're missing open shots? You got to keep taking them, right? As this one swings around to CADE Cunningham, but this has honestly been an awesome defensive possession. We're everywhere as I take it away from CADE as he drives. Here we go, trying to give it up to Donovan. Bertans is too slow on the closeout. 3 more for the Knicks. As we close the gap, we shrink it to 0. 53 up with 4 minutes to play in the second. Now the offense is starting to look the part. 4 minutes left to go. I would get taken out once again at this spot in the ball game. And for the first time in the first 2 games, we see the bench starting to play up. They take an 8-point lead for us thanks to that man right there, Mitchell Drew. Look at that, 12 points in only 8 minutes off the bench. He just has these explosive games where he scores at will, and Mitchell Drew continues to be an awesome piece to this team. And I'm right behind him with 11 points, 3 steals, 6 assists, 5 for 7 shooting. That's what I had all game. You know, from game 1, that's what I shot for the entirety of it, 5 for 7, and I've already reached that here in the first half. Plus, on pace for more assists, and I've already maxed out on steals. I only had 2 in game 1, I've already got 3. Donovan, I got him going early with those first 2 shots out of the gate, and he hasn't looked back. Braun's been a little bit struggling, but him and Jerome Clifford have both not looked the part, so they've kind of neutralized each other, and Bradley Beal has been overwhelmed by Donovan moving to the 3. Coming off an ACL tear, going up against the 2-time DPOI winner, probably not the best course of action for Beal. As we jump in here to the second half of play, we get the switch. JV switches onto me. I know I can beat him off the dribble, but a double comes, making the extra find. It is Ferran leaning back like his name's Fat Joe. Lean back. Haha, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go, we gotta keep pushing. We're finally looking the part on offense. I want to keep it up. 69 to 58. We're overcoming that uncharacteristically bad shooting performance in game 1. Bertans with 10 to shoot. Inside, it's Donovan sending it back. Pushing in transition, it's the Knicks. Ferran out to Donnie G for number 3 from behind the line. Those open shots we were taking in game 1 that we were missing, they're finally starting to go down here in game 2. Check out Donnie G. His knee looks fine. Look at all the ground he covered. I think he might be trying to play up the injury a little bit, maybe for the fans or for social media, or maybe for his honey back home. I don't know. I think he's trying to milk it a little bit, but hey, he's hot. Look at him in the corner. He is on fire. So we run a pick and roll in this possession. Washington has mismatches all around the board as Harold drives and gives it up to Toppin. Up top to Obi. Look at this lob as Toppin takes it from the rafters and he climbs an extra step on the staircase to put it down against our former teammate. CADE Cunningham gets in harm's way and he falls on all 4s. Oh my goodness, and that felt nice to see after all the trouble that Cunningham was starting in game 1. And guess what? We would not stop there. It's another mismatch. Me versus Bertans. I take his ankles a little bit, but it's Valanciunas who had 8 blocks in game 1 getting a piece of it. But look at this, coming behind Bertans. I don't give up on the play. Up ahead to me, one-on-one against JV. I absorb the foul and put it through. MSG is on their feet. This place is rocking right now. Things got a little too quiet for my tastes after game 1, and we're finally starting to feel the energy rise. And it's all this great offense is starting on the defensive side of the floor. The Wizards have barely scored this entire quarter. I believe they're only at 12 points since they entered the half with 54, and now they're at 66. It's another steal. This time it's Pascal the Rascal opening things up in transition for Donnie to find Ferran. How about 11 third quarter points for Ferran, overcoming his slow start as well. We look unstoppable here. Oh my goodness, this third quarter has been straight out of a dream. Man, I think we're putting all the doubt to rest. As we jump to the fourth quarter, it's still around 20 as CADE steps to the free throw line. I mean, what more can you say? It looks like we can coast to the finish line here as Ferran takes the ankles of Jerome Clifford. Oh, he just missed the three. That would have been another highlight play, but look at this. It's another steal. Bullet pass between two Wizards players. As I don't give up on Ferran. Instead of the three, he's living above the rim today. 107 to 86. I'm approaching a career high in steals. And look at this, another great defensive possession on CADE. Pascal helps me out, grabs the miss, and we are off and running. Pascal to me. I get two screens. Looking for some more early offense inside to Donnie G for another three-point play. Stop the match. It's too much. Another jam. Are you serious? Oh my goodness, as Bradley Beal gives him a little shove. The Wizards continue to play a little bit chippy, but we don't care. We are still cruising here in game 2 until the finish line, and we take some much needed momentum on the road with us. I'm your player of the game, and a blowout of 118-94. What a way to respond after getting shocked on our home floor in game 1. And look at that, Ferran, 25 points after the way he started this game. 20 of those came in the second half. Oh my goodness, 8 of 13 and third and fourth quarters alone for Ferran. I had 18 and 11, 7 steals. That is a career high for me. Yes, 5 turnovers, but you'll take the good with the bad. I barely had any turnovers in game 1, but that also was due in part to my usage rate. Didn't have much usage in game 1, didn't make much of an impact, so my turnovers were down. Today, I was everywhere, so I'm cool with the 5 turnovers with how much production I had. Montrezl Harrell played well in the starting lineup. Donovan got him back to performing well. Despite that knee injury, he looked perfectly fine out there. He was playing through the pain. He's done that a lot in his career, and we send the fans home happy. Valanciunas still added 17 more rebounds to his totals, but it did not matter in the end. So we split the first 2 games. There were 2 blowouts, but pretty exciting blowouts, if I do say so myself. We had a lot of awesome action today, and we'll see how we do on the road. We actually have one of the best records on the road in the NBA this season. We're 30 wins and 11 losses away from MSG. So we'll see what we can do. He's the best franchise record, 55 wins, the highest win total for the Knicks since 1997. We'll see if we can keep the pressure on Washington and build off this amazing, spectacular game 2 next time around. So I appreciate you guys stopping by today. This is College Sports Revive signing out. Hope you guys enjoyed this today. It was a pretty awesome way to open up the playoffs. And I'm feeling good heading into game 3 and 4 next time around. You see me here on the road to NBA 2K22. I'm looking forward to it. Peace, everybody. Have a good day.